Shalom, YouTube. This is your Ark. Yah is magnified. Coming back with another video. This video is titled Assumpsit versus Intent. So with that being said, guys, let's get to it. Okay, as we all know, child support is a quasi-contract. And how do they basically get us in these quasi-contracts? It's simply by assumption. So before we can get more understanding of a quasi-contract, let's go to the development of quasi-contract. Okay, so as you guys can see, it says, at a time when Assumpsit could not be maintained without proof of an express promise, it is too early to expect to find any remedy in Assumpsit for obligations which are created without promise, either expressed or implied. So guys, this is basically telling you that a quasi-contract goes into effect once, because the assumption that you owe, you see, or they assume that you are in agreement with them on a contract. Okay, so when it says at a time when Assumpsit could not be maintained without proof of an express promise, okay, so the best thing to do is get understanding of Assumpsit. So let's go to the Black Laws Dictionary, the 3rd edition, to get understanding of what Assumpsit means. Okay, guys, as you see at the bottom left side right here, it says Assumpsit. Latin, he undertook, he promised, a promise or engagement by which one, let's stroll up, by which one person assumes or undertakes to do some act or pay something to another. Okay, so now as you can see, it's basically a one-sided contract, you know, and that's what child support is a one-sided contract, and it's all based off assumptions, or they assume that you're going to take over a debt for another. So the key word in that sentence is assume. So let's go to the definition of assume, just to get more understanding. Assume, to pretend, to undertake, engage, promise. Okay, let's go past the case laws. It says to take to or upon oneself. So they're basically stating that you guys, because they assume that you guys are going to take on the burden upon yourself for what the child's mom signed up for. But let's finish to go even more deeper past the next case laws. And then it says a contract to assume an interest-bearing debt means the taking over of the liability for interest as well as principal. So they think that you guys are taking over liability for the debt being owed, you see, which is crazy, man. You know, it's very unfair what they're doing. So it's all by assumption that they hold you guys accountable for something, you know, that we have nothing to, you know, and nothing to partake in. But let's continue. Let's go back to where we left off from. It states that, let me stroll up. There it is. It says, it may be either oral or in writing, but it is not under seal. It is expressed if the promissory puts his engagements in distinct and definite language. It is implied, see guys, where the law infers a promise, though no formal one has passed. You see, so they just imply that it's a promise, even though there's no promise that even exists that you guys promise to pay anything. But let's continue. It says from the conduct of the party or the circumstances of the case. Okay, and let's go to in practice. It says a form of action which lies for the recovery of damage for the non-performance of a parole or simple contract, and we know child support is a simple contract, or a contract that is neither of record nor under seal. And we all know that child support is not a court of record. You know, no matter how much they try to make it seem, as you know, it's not a court of record or whatever. So the terms is not even of record either. That's why they can't provide proof of where the debt comes from and how to, you know, how they even calculate their debt, just because they take your income and somebody else's income and say, well, this is how much you're going to come out and end up paying, that still doesn't give them a right to just make up a figure in thin air, out of thin air, and then hold you accountable for paying for it. Guys. So with that being said, let's go back to where we started from in the beginning, for the contracts, for the quasi-contract. Okay, so let's pick this back up at 31. Development of quasi-contract. At a time when a subset cannot be maintained without proof of an express promise, it is too early to expect to find any remedy in a subset for obligations which are created without promise, either expressed or implied. So basically, they're moving because they assume that you guys want to take over the debt, right? So let's see how they move forward to get you guys involved with this scam. It says, eventually, however, soon after the courts recognize a genuine implied promise, you see? So once the court recognize an implied promise, it don't have to be an actual promise. They just think, well, okay, he's moving forward, or it looks like we're going to take this as a promise. All because you guys go in there can argue a debt. For instance, you guys go into court and they have you in the arrears for like $30,000. Then you look at the judge and the agency say, I don't owe that much money. By you simply saying you don't owe that much money, you gave them, you gave them a reason to assume that it is some type of debt owed. It may not be that much money that they claim, but it is a debt being owed. So you gave that debt validity, and then they put that on you as implied promise. But let's continue. It says, and with but little decisions, Assumpsit is recognized as a proper action in cases in which money is due and owing from one person to another, although the person who owes such money has made no genuine promise, either expressed or implied. Okay? So even if they saying that you owe the money, and you made no promise to even pay that money back, but because the judge made it seem, or they think that you assume to pay by you arguing the debt, these guys move forward on you. But let's continue. It says, to, scroll up. It says, to pay such money, Assumpsit was recognized as an action to recover money paid by mistake, or to recover money by void authority, or to recover money by due customs, or to recover fees as for by nighted. And then it says, while it's possible that there may have been in some of these cases a genuine agreement for the payment of money for which the action is bought, no emphasis is laid upon such promise. So they don't really care if it's a promise or if it's not a promise. You see? As long as they assume that it's a promise, they moving in on it, guys. So let's go. And it says, and in some of the cases, it is very clear that there was no genuine agreement to pay the money. To go from genuine implied contracts to quasi-contracts as a basics of Assumpsit seems to have been much easier than to go from express contract to genuine implied contract. So you see, so the guys switched it to Assumpsit so that way they can get you guys by simply assuming that they want you to believe that you owe the debt, and then once they get that assumption from you, they move forward, no matter if you promised to pay or if you didn't. But let's continue. Okay, guys. So as you guys can see on the screen, it's the definition of the word intent. So let's read the definition. Intent: a determination to perform a particular act or to act in a particular manner for a specific reason, an aim or design, a resolution to use a certain means to reach an end. Okay? So the child support agency is acting on assumptions, but what you guys need to be acting on is intent. Okay? So now let's go down to the legal definition of intent to get some better understanding. The legal importance of what an individual intended depends on a particular area of law. In contract law, for example, we know child support again is a contract law. It says, for example, the intentions of the parties to a written contract is fixed by the language of the contract document. Okay? So let's continue forward. It says in tort law, since they're claiming that you owe a debt, so they're collecting on tort. It's a lawsuit against you when they take you to court to collect the payment. But you can also file a tort lawsuit against them. So let's continue. It says in tort law, intent plays a key role in determining the civil liabilities of persons who commit harm. Okay? So like I said, while they're working on assumptions, you guys work on intent. Okay? But let's continue. An intentional tort is any deliberate invasion of, now let me find out if this stuff don't sound like what the child support agency doing to you guys, or interference with the property rights, personal rights, or personal liberties of another that causes injury without just cause or excuse. That's exactly what the child support agency is doing. They're causing injury within your property, your private rights, your property rights, your personal rights, and your personal liabilities, as it's stated in tort law. So instead of you guys working on assumptions like they doing, switch the game up and work on intent. You see? So that's all I'm gonna do for today. You guys continue to fight. Keep y'all heads up. It's gonna be a fight, man. You ain't gotta listen to these other guys. We be just on here wasting time, talking trash, talking about he want people to provide proof, but they can't even provide proof of their own information that they even defeated the agency themselves. But they talking about they want to see other people provide proof. Come on, man. They lost their mind, man. You know what I mean? These guys lost their mind. So tell that clown who keeps saying he want to see everybody else's proof, where's his proof at? You see? I'm the only one on here put up proof. I'm the only one. So, and I got more proof coming. October gonna be a beautiful month, man. More proof coming, man. So, y'all continue to fight. Don't give up. If you need my help, the link in the description box. We can work out something and get it moving. So with that being said, y'all be blessed. Shalom, YouTube.